India, officially the Republic of India. Bhārat Gaṇarājya, is a country in South Asia. It is the seventh largest country by area, the second most populous country with over 1.2 billion people, and the most populous democracy in the world. It is bounded by the Indian Ocean on the south, the Arabian Sea on the southwest, and the Bay of Bengal on the southeast. It shares land borders with Pakistan to the west, China, Nepal, and Bhutan to the northeast, and Myanmar, Burma, and Bangladesh to the east. In the Indian Ocean, India is in the vicinity of Sri Lanka and the Maldives. India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands share a maritime border with Thailand and Indonesia. The Indian subcontinent was home to the urban Indus Valley Civilization of the 3rd millennium BC. In the following millennium, the oldest scriptures associated with Hinduism began to be composed. Social stratification, based on caste, emerged in the 1st millennium BC, and Buddhism and Jainism arose. Early political consolidations took place under the Maurya and Gupta empires. The later peninsular Middle Kingdoms influenced cultures as far as Southeast Asia. In the medieval era, Judaism, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, and Islam arrived, and Sikhism emerged, all adding to the region's diverse culture. Much of the north fell to the Delhi Sultanate. The south was united under the Vijayanagara Empire. The economy expanded in the 17th century in the Mughal Empire. In the mid-18th century, the subcontinent came under British East India Company rule, and in the mid-19th under British Crown rule. A nationalist movement emerged in the late 19th century, which later, under Mahatma Gandhi, was noted for non-violent resistance and led to India's independence in 1947. In 2017, the Indian economy was the world's 6th largest by nominal GDP and 3rd largest by purchasing power parity. 15 following market-based economic reforms in 1991, India became one of the fastest-growing major economies and is considered a newly industrialized country. However, it continues to face the challenges of poverty, corruption, malnutrition, and inadequate public health care. A nuclear weapon state and regional power, it has the 3rd largest standing army in the world and ranks 5th in military expenditure among nations. India is a federal republic governed under a parliamentary system and consists of 29 states and 7 union territories. It is a pluralistic, multilingual and multi-ethnic society and is also home to a diversity of wildlife in a variety of protected habitats. Etymology: the name India is derived from Indus, which originates from the Old Persian word Hindu. 18. The latter term stems from the Sanskrit word Sindhu, which was the historical local appellation for the Indus River. 19. The ancient Greeks referred to the Indians as Indoi, which translates as the people of the Indus. 20. The geographical term Bharat, pronounced Bharat, about the sound listen, which is recognized by the Constitution of India as an official name for the country. 21. Is used by many Indian languages in its variations. It is a modernization of the historical name Bharatavarsha, which traditionally referred to the Indian subcontinent and gained increasing currency from the mid-19th century as a native name for India. 22-23 Scholars believe it to be named after the Vedic tribe of Bharatas in the 2nd millennium BC. 24 It is also traditionally associated with the rule of the legendary Emperor Bharata. 25 Gaṇarājya literally, people state is the Sanskrit Hindi term for republic dating back to the ancient times. 26 27 28 Hindustan Indi? Sta? And about the sound listen is a Persian name for India dating back to the 3rd century BC. It was introduced into India by the Mughals and widely used since then. Its meaning varied, referring to a region that encompassed northern India and Pakistan or India in its entirety. 22 23 29 Currently, the name may refer to either the northern part of India or the entire country. History: Ancient India, the earliest authenticated human remains in South Asia date to about 30,000 years ago. 30 nearly contemporaneous Mesolithic rock art sites have been found in many parts of the Indian subcontinent, including at the Bhimbetka rock shelters in Madhya Pradesh. 31 Around 7000 BC, the first known Neolithic settlements appeared on the subcontinent in Mehrgarh and other sites in western Pakistan. 32 These gradually developed into the Indus Valley Civilization. 33 The first urban culture in South Asia. 34 It flourished during 2500–1900 BC in Pakistan and western India. 35 Centered around cities such as Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Dholavira, and Kalibangan, and relying on varied forms of subsistence, this civilization engaged robustly in crafts production and wide-ranging trade. 34 During the period 2500 BC, in terms of culture, many regions of the subcontinent transitioned from the Chalcolithic to the Iron Age. 36 The Vedas, the oldest scriptures associated with Hinduism, 37 were composed during this period. 38 And historians have analyzed these deposits of Vedic culture in the Punjab region and the Upper Gangetic Plain. 36 Most historians also consider this period to have encompassed several waves of Indo-Aryan migration into the subcontinent from the northwest. 37 The caste system, which created a hierarchy of priests, warriors, and free peasants, but which excluded indigenous peoples by labeling their occupations impure, arose during this period. 39 On the Deccan Plateau, archaeological evidence from this period suggests the existence of a chiefdom stage of political organization. 36 In South India, a progression to sedentary life is indicated by the large number of megalithic monuments dating from this period. 40 As well as by nearby traces of agriculture, irrigation tanks, and craft traditions. In the late Vedic period, around the 6th century BC, the small states and chiefdoms of the Ganges Plain and the northwestern regions had consolidated into 16 major oligarchies and monarchies that were known as the Mahajanapadas. 41–42 The emerging urbanization gave rise to non-Vedic religious movements, two of which became independent religions. Jainism came into prominence during the life of its exemplar, Mahavira. 43 Buddhism, based on the teachings of Gautama Buddha, attracted followers from all social classes excepting the middle class. Chronicling the life of the Buddha was central to the beginnings of recorded history in India. 44, 45, 46 In an age of increasing urban wealth, both religions held up renunciation as an ideal. 47 And both established long-lasting monastic traditions. Politically, by the 3rd century BC, the kingdom of Magadha had annexed or reduced other states to emerge as the Mauryan Empire. 48 The empire was once thought to have controlled most of the subcontinent excepting the far south, but its core regions are now thought to have been separated by large autonomous areas. 49–50 The Mauryan kings are known as much for their empire building and determined management of public life as for Ashoka's renunciation of militarism and far-flung advocacy of the Buddhist Dhamma. 51–52 The Sangam literature of the Tamil language reveals that, between 200 BC and 200 CE, the southern peninsula was being ruled by the Cheras, the Cholas, and the Pandyas, dynasties that traded extensively with the Roman Empire and with West and Southeast Asia. 53–54 In North India, Hinduism asserted patriarchal control within the family, leading to increased subordination of women. 55–48 By the 4th and 5th centuries, the Gupta Empire had created in the Greater Ganges Plain a complex system of administration and taxation that became a model for later Indian kingdoms. 56–57 Under the Guptas, a renewed Hinduism based on devotion rather than the management of ritual began to assert itself. 58 The renewal was reflected in a flowering of sculpture and architecture, which found patrons among an urban elite. 57 Classical Sanskrit literature flowered as well, and Indian science, astronomy, medicine, and mathematics made significant advances.